Unbelievable. What a great crowd already. Welcome to WCS Europe. It's the Season 2 Premier League Grand Finals this weekend. And this is going to be amazing. We've had a phenomenal week already with a brilliant round of 16. We've had tears of joy, we've had retirements, we've had dethroned kings, and we've had a few boring games of PvP. But nevertheless, it's the quarterfinals, and every single game now matters. Each winner will go through to the semi-finals, and of course they'll represent Europe in the global finals as well. Before we get there, let's just check with the round of 16. On Monday, we saw HasuObs and Grubby coming through a tense Group A. In Group B, Wellmu dominating, actually, all the way from Challenger League and qualifiers and, well, you name it, he's been through it to get here. So he's very much the man on a mission right now. You can see in Group C, Naniwa and MMA coming through fairly predictably. And then the final two, Vortex and MC, coming through our final group. Let's go and meet a new member of the cast for the weekend. We were missing him during the week. He is, of course, a Premier League player in his own right. It's Todd. Man, so good to have you back. I was watching the games all week, and I was like, Todd's here in spirit because Protoss are dominating. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, I've been watching at home, and WCS Season 2 Europe, revenge of the Protosses. That's how it's going here. Last season, we only had Baby Knight in the top 8. He did not do well. He did not win a single map when he came here, and now Protosses are dominating here. I'm really happy about this, and I can't wait to see what those players have to bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we do have a bracket for you to show you how this is going to look today. We've got 4 matches today and then 5 tomorrow. I'll explain a little bit about that later. First up, HasuObs versus MMA. Then we have Wellmu versus MC, Naniwa versus Duck Duck, and our final game this evening will be Vortex versus Grubby. That's the quarterfinal lineup, or the round of 8, depending on how you want to cut it. Who stands out for you of the 8 that you've seen playing that quarterfinal? Who stands out? Who's got the kahunas to win?
I think Vortex right now is doing very good overall. He's rank 1 on the European ladder. Maybe I shouldn't have said this, he's a barcode, but he's doing very well against Protoss, and although he will not agree with that, I think since he might have to play a lot of Protosses there, if he plays very well, if he has a very good day today and tomorrow, I think he could take it all to everybody's surprise.
Yeah, it's looking like a Protoss right now, but who knows? Before we go any further, it's also worth mentioning that you can send us your predictions via Twitter. Use twitter.com/StarCraft. Don't forget to follow them, of course, and on Facebook, and include the hashtag #WCS. Let us know who you think is the favourite out of the final 8. They are a brand new 8, of course, because the 8 from last season aren't back anymore. So the Great 8 are gone. Long live the new Great 8. Next up, it's time to find out our first matchup. Let's check in with our first game. It's going to be a cracker, this one. It's the German champion. He's won just about everything. I think he may have even won a Tiddlywinks championship in Germany. He's got that many titles to his name. It is, of course, HasuObs, with a fantastic run through round of 32 and round of 16. He goes up against MMA, a former Triple Crown winner, loser to Naniwa only, and that's his only blemish on his record right now in WCS. So how do you see this one going?
MMA, he only lost 1 match against Protoss, but it was his only match against Protoss so far. HasuObs is undefeated, so I will give him the edge. But then again, it's a clash of styles here, because HasuObs is very much so a defensive player, whereas MMA is more of an offensive player. So defense versus offense, that makes this very interesting. And if I was HasuObs, this morning we had the WCS Korea finals played, Protoss versus Terran. Everybody expected the Protoss to win, at least a lot of people, and to find inspiration in it, but sadly that did not turn out as we expected. So hang
on. As you expected and as in control expected, but I was willing to take the bet that the Terran would win.
So you respect the Artosis curse a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's strong in Artosis. Thank you for that, Todd. We'll get more from Todd in a moment. It's worth checking in with the players to find out what their thoughts were on the round of 16. Here's HasuObs.
Hi, my name is Dennis Schneider. I'm 25 years old. My ID is HasuObs, playing for the team Mousesports, and yeah, I'm a Protoss player. Being the only German in the round of 16 was a pretty good feeling, but also a lot of pressure is on my shoulders, because a lot of people expect me to do well.
Great feedback on that Mothership core as well. No more recall available to him. The Colossus will end up dying, but at the cost of a Nexus. Great force field there, though, by HasuObs.
In a tournament situation, you have to play different play styles all the time to surprise your opponents. So I mixed in some all-ins and some cheeses, and just in general a bit more all-around play style instead of always going for the 3 or 4 base and into the macro game.
He has to try and shut this down, but the Zealous charge on forwards here, along with Storms and those Colossus not being contested by anything. There's no Vikings. MVP is on the back foot here. HassuObs taking a fantastic supply lead and pushing on forwards with the Archons tanking. GG, HassuObs takes game number 1. The crowd goes wild, and HassuObs takes this first game. HassuObs is going to claim the victory if he continues this.
Beautiful StarCraft from the German here. Absolutely beautiful StarCraft.
GG! HassuObs takes the series. HassuObs advances onto the round of 8 in first place.
I think I'm usually better when I have time to prepare for my opponents. Overall, I just try to watch all the replays that are out there in the internet, and having all the information is always a really big factor, and that's what I mainly did as preparation.
Oh my god, I think he just caught a fly. Oh my god.
Yeah!
What a hero.
I think my biggest goal would be to win one of the major StarCraft 2 events, the international ones, because I won almost every title in Germany already, and a few smaller tournaments in different countries, but not really a major one so far. And winning the WCS would be great, but it's a really long way and it's pretty tough to do so.
Yeah, he's not wrong. It is a long way, although it's getting closer by the match. Just 2 more matches and he'll find himself in the grand final. He's our sole German representative this season in the round of 16 and the round of 8, and the first time in the round of 8 during WCS. He's also found practice improvements as well, Todd. I'm going to nickname him the Lord of the Fly. And leave it at that, because I love the fact that his ninja skills were so good on Monday that he not only took down 2 fantastic players, he was even able to take out the fly.
He definitely has the top 3 fly catching control.
Definitely, top 3 fly action control. Try saying that a few times fast. That's HassuObs. He goes head-to-head with a former Triple Crown champion. If you don't know him already, and you really should, it's okay, we've got your back. This is MMA.
안녕하세요. 한국에 살고 있는 문성원이고요. 에이서 팀의 MMA라는 아이디를 쓰고 있고 종종은 테란입니다. 정신없게 플레이하기.
The amount of strength and the quality that we're seeing from MMA in game number 1 is absolutely mind-blowing here. I didn't expect him to play this well today.
일단 결과가 지금 괜찮으니까 당연히 좋고, 나도 처음에 북미랑 유럽이랑 많이 고민을 했는데 팀이 유럽에 있다 보니 석서도 유럽에 있고 그래서 유럽을 선택했지.
And he walks straight into a lot of that siege tank fire there, not realizing that it was actually set up. GG and MMA takes it 2-0.
일단 진출한 거 너무 기쁘고, 이번 시즌은 정말 개인적으로 너무나 중요했는데 또 테란이 지금 현재 나밖에 없어서 뭐 힘든 시즌이 될 것 같고, 프로토스가 정말 너무 세다는 걸 또 오늘 또 한번 느꼈어.
MMA is the one to go through to the next round in the round of 8.
이건 진짜 트로피를 못 가져본 지 너무너무 오래됐는데, 이번 시즌 꼭 유럽 시즌은 아니더라도 이번 목표가 시즌 파이널에 진출하는 건데, 시즌 파이널에 진출해서 꼭 트로피를 안고 싶어.
So that's MMA, another player like HassuObs, who fell a bit short in round of 16 season 1, but has made his way back into the quarterfinal here in season 2. As we said earlier on, former Triple Crown winner, first man to do it across all 3 continents. And Todd, slowly getting back to the kind of MMA that we know and love from Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this last season. MMA is one of those players, he used to win a lot of tournaments, and later on it did not go as well for him. He started kind of falling off the map, and he hasn't had the same results as he did in the past, and now finally he's rebuilding his confidence back up, except maybe against Protoss, as he mentioned, but he's doing a lot better these days, and I do think that here, if he goes into those games with the right mindset, he can go very far and maybe even win this, because remember, he's a really top player. He's one of the best out there, and he used to win a lot of tournaments. Not anymore.
Do you think he is the MVP of season 2? I mean, he's a double Triple Crown winner. Hadn't had much success for a while. Came to WCS Europe and suddenly blew everyone away. Is MMA this season's version?
I think it's possible, but I mean, just like with MVP, I'm going to be a doubter this time, because in the previous season, I didn't think MVP was going to be as dominant as he was, but then again, there is always this possibility that he just massacres everybody and proves me wrong, so yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. As Todd rightly pointed out, it is aggression versus defense. And we're about to find out who our first player through to the semi-final and the global finals will be. Will it be the underdog, the German, the stoic German, or will it be the crazy Korean? We're about to find out by handing you over to our commentary team, who are joining us on this very smart Saturday. It is, of course, Apollo and Kalaris.
Thank you very much, Paul. Welcome to the caster's desk, as now we have best of fives from here on out, round of 8 onwards over the weekend. And as MMA said, he likes to drive his opponents crazy, but will he be able to do so against HassuObs, who's been looking really good as of late?
Well, I don't know which way this is going to go, because it is the aggressive Terran player, and he always has been one of the most aggressive Terran players out there. And his games against Naniwa are super aggressive, but he's going up against one of the most defensive Protoss players that there is in the European scene, if not the #1 defensive Protoss player. You did bring up a point, it is going to be a best of 5. I think that both players can change their styles throughout this series for sure, though.
And now here, with MMA vetoing first, we get to see a little bit of a glimpse into the Terran mind as to which is the map that he certainly does not want to play against Protoss. You only get 1 veto here in the best of 5, and Red City is going to be that map. Not surprised at all.
Yeah, just 1 veto each, of course. 7 map pools within the map pool, and then 1 veto each leaves us with 5 maps. And now they're going to be choosing which map's first, which map is second. HassuObs having a bit of piece of paper there. I'll give you a bit of information on HassuObs. So a lot of players today, a lot of the Koreans came in yesterday to practice on the day off.
Yep.
Well, compared to a lot of the European players, and especially HassuObs, he spent the day yesterday just watching replays, watching VODs of his opponents. As he mentioned it in his interview just now, the pre-game interview, that's something he thinks is very important to his game. So that piece of paper might be all the knowledge in the world to be able to beat out MMA.
It's the Strelok equivalent of a little notebook here.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, Hasu is well prepared, one would imagine. They've not had that much time to prepare here, and MMA might be a little bit shaky against Protoss at the moment, having had to play against Naniwa in the past and not really bringing the most confident of games there to the table.
Yeah.
So he doesn't necessarily have the best bracket for him, I don't feel, here.
No, I mean, he's run up against the one player probably that you wouldn't want to go up against, such a defensive player in the likes of HassuObs. And before the show even went live, HassuObs, even now, just looks confident and looks calm. He's been talking just back and forth with his girlfriend. He's been talking to a lot of other people here as well. But MMA seems a little bit worried, if not nervous. I'm not sure what it is, but he doesn't look dominant at this moment, not outside of game. We'll have to see how he is in game, as the two players do shape up to battle. MMA, a 5-time Premier StarCraft 2 champion across, big tournaments across 3 different continents. HassuObs, the highest he's got in a major international, is only 4th place.
Yeah. And he's looking to extend that a little bit further here in terms of actually getting that high performance. And he has a good chance. I think the bracket for a lot of our Protoss players has shaped up nicely, because whilst there is the Terran and the Zerg there in the form of MMA and Vortex, a lot of our Protoss, once they get past those, are Protoss specialists. Protoss in the EU scene, has kind of this wild style, and we're going to get to see a lot of it here.
Do you have any predictions for this series at all?
For this series, I'm going to go with 3-1 HassuObs. I actually think that he can do it here. And from what we saw in the past, MMA against Naniwa, he went straight to very, very aggressive builds, super aggressive builds. So I think that's a little bit of an indication as to his mindset here going up against Protoss. Yeah,
HassuObs actually played against MMA about a month ago in the StarCraft 2 Team League. HassuObs beat him, but it was a kind of a weird game. It was like proxy oracles and stuff. But look at HassuObs here with notes on screen on what to do. But I really believe that it's something else that I picked up from the interview, is that I think he'll change his style throughout the games. I think he'll actually be aggressive in a couple of games, whether it be proxy immortal, proxy oracle, or just a 2-base all-in. I definitely feel that HassuObs is going to bring a mix to try to confuse MMA, who likewise knows that HassuObs is a very defensive player, very sits back a lot.
Yeah.
When it's up to MMA, is he going to be able to drive his opponent crazy?
Likewise, yeah, you're right. I mean, we can't really doubt MMA too much here. I mean, he's got to this point only having fallen to Naniwa during the WCS Europe. And again, in team leagues and things like that, he's proving himself worthy. He's getting back up there, slowly rising up.
Yep.
Our doubts previous in season 1 and whatnot, you know, they're not as prevalent here, I don't think.
All right, MMA is a champion. It doesn't matter how bad he's doing at the moment or how compared to what he used to be. It doesn't matter. He's won 5 tournaments in the past. It's been over a year and a half since he won his last tournament. But anything is possible. He's so far undefeated. Oh, he lost 1 series, sorry, against Naniwa. But apart from that 1 series, he's been playing some of the best StarCraft that we've seen from him in a long time.
Yes.
He made Happy, one of the best European Terran players, look like nothing, winning 4 games to 0 just a few days ago. But now he must face a difficult challenge in the likes of HasuObs.
And we'll see now as we load up onto our first map. Star Station is the choice here. Protoss versus Terran to open the round of 8 up, and spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner as our red Terran representing Acer and Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for MMA. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss representing Germany as well as Mousesports. Give it up for HassuObs.
A lot of support here for the German today. A veteran of the esports scene when it comes to playing in Germany. He mentioned he's won everything there is to win in Germany. And he has won a couple of small tournaments within the European scene, an Italian tournament, a Spanish tournament. But it is now time to step it up to a different level, to a new level. Because I mean, if you look at HassuObs, I really think that you look at him and say, yeah, but there's TLO, who's done great internationally. There's also Soccer, who's been to a lot of different MLGs. HassuObs is still one of the best, but only the best in a small area. If he can do well outside of that small bubble, then he really can start to get a wider recognition for his play.
Yeah, I certainly think so. He took the first step certainly in the round of 16 by defeating the likes of MVP, etc. But now here in the round of 8, if he can actually just move on from this, his probe is moving in an interesting direction.
He scouted out his natural and he's scouting around his third base here. He's making sure that there is no proxy at the time being for his opponent. Whether he's going to go try and proxy himself, we don't know, but MMA, look at this, opening up game number 1, aggressive already. Double barracks coming down. We're going to see a lot of Reapers. But what is... He's already got... Look, HassuObs has got this probe here.
If he goes for a Reaper build, and then if a pylon goes down there and he tries to make a Stargate or something like that, for example, then there would be no Marines out, and it would just be kind of over, depending on who actually does the damage. But this is kind of what we expected here from MMA.
And from HassuObs too. We didn't know if it would be game number 1 or not. I thought he maybe waited a little bit longer to pull something like this out. I thought maybe he'd play his normal style and then do something, but he's really looking to catch MMA off guard with this. By the looks of it, Stargate, but Robo is a definite possibility too. But the problem is, Kolaris, there are double barracks. There's going to be double Reapers.
It's a lot of damage, potentially.
I think this is going to be Stargate.
I think so as well.
Yeah, so I think this is just going to be for like Oracle play again. But the big problem is for both players is because they're focusing so much on their aggression, what defense do they really have?
There's going to be a Stalker for Hasu, but we've even seen during WCS that a Stalker can sometimes not stand up to a lot of Reapers once they come out, especially with the micro that someone like MMA can actually exhibit. So now we'll see what's going to happen here. If Hasu goes for the Oracle and then, say, behind that, takes a lot of damage back at home, MMA takes a lot of damage, how does that play out? Does he just get a Void Ray and fly around and try and do more?
I think so. I think so. It's difficult to call, really, isn't it? But look at these Reapers on the left-hand side of the Selnaga Tower.
Just out of range.
Waiting around, out of range of this. The Oracle's into play. 2 Reapers are still coming. There's no anti-air at all.
Not a single Marine. Never mind an engineering bay or anything like that.
It's so difficult because the Stalker is going to get beaten up by 5 Reapers.
Eventually.
The Reapers on the left-hand side now. I've seen a probe on that pylon. That's a little bit weird. Why is that there?
Yeah.
Is MMA going to start to tick now? He should go back to Marines anyway at this point, but...
He's not enough. He sees it.
Now alarm bells are ringing. But Too late!
Exactly, there's only 2 Marines on the way here. If HassuObs can actually just continue to pick those off here and now, then there's not a whole lot he can actually do about this. He's making the bunker in the mineral line. This is a very, very clever move from MMA, but I don't even know if he can actually get it up in time.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage being dealt down here. I mean, they've stopped the target. I actually wouldn't be expanding if I was HassuObs right now.
No.
I'd be getting the mothership core out and really starting to focus on my defense, even chrono boosting the gateway, just anything, because at this moment, HassuObs has killed 10 SCVs.
Yeah, and he's actually not denied the bunker from completion, just yet at least. He went over to the natural to have a look around, but these Reapers are looking to threaten as well. That bunker is going to finish, and that's going to give MMA a lot of defense there.
Well, that Stalker's going to go down fast.
Oh, second one does pop as well the mothership core there. So in the end, the mothership core can be very, very annoying to these Reapers as they cannot shoot up. But he's still going to lose a few probes.
Yeah, and remember that there's going to be double orbital commands down for MMA, who did stop the Oracle for now. He's got a bunker in his main mineral line, so this is going to continue to mine, no problem. The Oracle has to come back, and the longer that HassuObs stays on one base, the worse this actually becomes from him, because he's not mining from 2.
I've got to ask, do you think he should have been more active about denying the bunker with that Oracle?
I think he just ran out of energy and then couldn't do anything about it.
True. Well, we'll see now if he's going to be able to clean this up. It looks like he will push the Reapers away for now. It's been 9 workers lost to 8 workers lost, and 19 to 19. But as you said, second orbital command is done. So MMA is going to be able to increase that CV count very quickly and even have double mules.
Well, you know, MMA's in a pretty good position, no doubt about that, as he does take a bit of an economy lead. His opponent's Nexus only just now coming down, and he is going to start to go over to Stim and his attack upgrades very soon. But HassuObs is also stabilizing himself. As you can see, just starting to warp in additional units. And he shouldn't really have too much problems against these Reapers anymore, but by the time that the Nexus is done, we're really going to have to see the difference in the worker count.
Yeah, I think if he focuses chrono boosts on his first Nexus, he shouldn't be too far behind, but there is going to be that essence of just in general being behind. And there we go, there's the chrono boost on the Nexus. He's throwing the robo facility down as well here, just so that he can keep himself a little more defended, maybe get a bit of knowledge from his opponent with an observer as well.
Well, this Oracle's going to poke in. Any kill is a win.
Oh, not the best time to salvage a bunker, but there are enough Marines there that should be able to push this away. So he does lose 1 or 2 more workers.
9 probes have been killed, 12 SCVs, and as this Nexus is about to finish up, the difference in workers is not that bad.
Yeah.
26 apiece. Of course, there are mules in the way, but there is a little bit of a bit of a faster tech set up for MMA. He does have Stim on the way. The factory's down as well, whereas the robotics facility is only just now finishing up.
And even missile turrets going down in the mineral line as well here, just to make sure that no more shenanigans can hurt him. So MMA actually, with 3 bunkers, playing a little bit scared. The Reapers are going to jump in and have a look around, and they do see a robo facility being chrono boosted no less, but it's only for the observer.
Well, this is a very... it's a bad game for workers.
It certainly is. How many do we have killed? We have almost 30 killed in total. So a few more probes do go down. How many are we sat at? We're at 25 probes to 31 SCVs right now. The game is going to go on, and HassuObs is going to look for opportunities to get himself back into this game. But MMA certainly has the lead.
Yeah, but with those couple of kills that those Reapers just picked up there, economy lead is definitely in favor of MMA now, 33 to 28, and mules. 3 bunkers making sure he doesn't die to anything before his Stim is ready, which is now almost done, so I think he's going to start to get quite comfortable soon. Ideally, this Oracle would like to do a little bit more.
Yep. Or even saving it for later for Revelation or Envision, but mostly for the Revelation, keeping an eye on his opponent's army is very, very nice.
This is not going to do anything here.
No, I don't think so.
But this is also playing to his image, which is at the moment in MMA's eyes aggressive. So
exactly. Yeah.
This is fine. But with Medivacs on the way out now, the big problem coming for HassuObs is as Medivacs come out and Pulse 1 attack is now ready, is HassuObs going to be prepared for the attack, which is definitely coming. He's trying to get the armor down. He's trying to get Zealot charge. He may even need to try to, squeeze out an Immortal here.
Yeah, just any kind of unit he can get out to actually deal with a defense is going to be very useful. And loses another probe here to this Reaper that was not expected to get in, but did in the end. Meanwhile, HassuObs is keeping an eye on his opponent's position in terms of his main, trying to find another attack with this Oracle, but it's not really getting in just yet.
Yeah, 16 kills still on that thing, nothing else been added on. But here we have a very difficult period for the German player, who tried to open up super aggressive with the Oracle play, down at 29 army supply to 47. The Temple Archives is coming in, but I don't think that's going to be ready by the time MMA gets there. And MMA dealing rather well, considering he had absolutely no Marines, or maybe one, as the Oracle did come in. But look at this attack. This is going to be difficult.
It certainly is. Lands the Envision Revelation on just a few of these units here. And, catches a medevac. Was not expecting that. Has a few force fields left in the army. In fact, quite a few, as well as the Photon Overcharge. And now without a second medevac, it makes it a lot harder here for MMA to threaten in his opponent's main.
Yeah, he can't really drop. It doesn't have the big healing power either, but 2 more are coming across.
And he's going to try and poke away at the next one. HassuObs here, just trying to snipe out these medevacs. He knows that that's the unit that is most valuable here. Absolutely. Marines and Marauders, they're pretty expendable in this regard. Although you don't want to lose every single one of them, but it's the medevacs that are the important tool.
Photon Overcharge is about to go down very soon. It looks like HassuObs manages to pick a couple of units off here, but he is losing a couple of Zats. Wants to bring them back immediately.
Nice force fields there, catches a few, and the Photon Overcharge still holding on strong, but is that about to run out? Nice drop here, though, from MMA.
Yeah, this is difficult to deal with, because he can also stim with quite a few Marines on the low ground as well.
Yeah, this is going to provide him a fantastic position to actually just rain down a little bit of damage onto this army, but HassuObs repositioning himself as well, but he sacrifices a bit of his infrastructure in his base. He gets caught between a rock and a hard place. This is not a good fight here from HassuObs. MMA taking a very, very nice engagement, and just going to retreat out for now, but it was still good for him.
Yeah, MMA really piling on the pressure. Just look at the minimap. Units just way pointed over there, and they are doing a lot of damage. There's just not enough from HassuObs. No Immortals, no Archons yet. The first one's only just being warped in, but MMA has just gotten in there before HassuObs was really ready to deal with this, due to the amount of pros that he lost earlier on.
There you go, GG for game number 1. MMA seizing the opportunity.
Yeah.
A fantastically played out game number 1, considering the very beginning.
And I know the first thing that's going through HassuObs' mind here is like, maybe I shouldn't have tried that here. Not on Star Station. Double Reapers is quite popular here. Maybe that's the reason why I tried it, you know?
Maybe.
But it didn't work out this time. It did not work out. Sometimes these kind of games do go one way or the other, and unfortunately not for the German player, as MMA does strike first blood.
All right, still 4 maps to go potentially though here for HassuObs if he wants to pull himself back into it. But you're right, it's a nice opener here for MMA. I wasn't really expecting him to take a strong first match, I'll be honest with you, after what we saw from him against Naniwa. But now, looking good. All he has to do is keep his composure, keep calm against a man in red who is, well, I still believe in HassuObs. I think he still has a good shot. He's looked really good all tournament long.
Yeah, he has. They both really have been looking pretty good all season long. Yeah. HassuObs is undefeated so far this season. Has lost 3 maps. Of course, in the round of 32 went 2-0 versus Daishi. Quite easy. 2-1 versus Demago. Round of 16, 2-1 versus Grubby. 2-1 versus MVP, the reigning champion. Now he goes up against a different type of champion. Of course, that is MMA, a GSL champion himself.
And Belshire Message is our second map here. So HassuObs has the opportunity for redemption here in game number 2, but this is not over just yet. MMA looking very, very nice in game number 1. I would like to see a standard macro game out of MMA, actually. I think he would be all right in that mid game, because once MMA's macro gets going, we saw it in season 1 against HassuObs' teammate Mana. Yep. Once his macro gets flying in the mid game, it's really, really hard to shut down, and he can look for good opportunities.
I think, though, one big factor is mind games. One big factor is that they both know each other's style. They both know what to expect, and that is changing the strategies that we're seeing today.
That's certainly true here, as we now jump into game number 2 to see if this man can take a swift 2-0. Spawning as our red Terran and representing Acer and Korea. Ladies and gents, give it up for MMA. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, our blue Protoss. Currently 1 game down, representing Germany and Mouse Sports. Give it up for HassuObs.
All right, so this game, I think we're just going to go to a normal game here. I don't think HassuObs is going to try anything crazy again. And likewise, I don't think MMA would do that, especially because of the way that we saw it. the way that HassuObs was scouting so actively around his natural as third before opting to throw down that pylon. But anything is possible. Anything is possible from these two players. It is all about the decisions that they have, or in HassuObs' case, the papers and notes that he has on his desk.
Yeah, that's certainly so. I think, you know, with MMA actually going for his gas and barracks at the same time, maybe we will see a Reaper or two just poking across the map, but nothing too crazy here. It's a bit harder, certainly much harder here on this map to make a 2-Rax Reaper actually work out, because there's not that much room to really jump in.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing he could go for is the reactor, but I don't think he'd dedicate to 2 barracks again now, as HassuObs did scout his natural and also is making his way across the map to find out what MMA is doing, who did decide to take a 13 gas. This is usually indicative of going towards that factory quite fast here. Does he want to throw down the reactor, though? Which is quite a common thing we see from MMA. This still could be double Reapers, by the way.
Yep.
From single barracks.
So MVP doing that previously.
But it also could be just Marines saving up for the factory. So those are the 2 branches that MMA has to choose from.
Yep, the Marines giving him a little bit more of a defensive posture early on, and I wouldn't actually mind that too much. You know, just saying, well, you know, there's not much chance of you doing the proxy Stargate again, but just in case you did, I have the tools at my disposal to actually shut that down very, very smartly.
And then one of the biggest builds, of course, that we see in the Korean scene so often is towards the factory, the Marines and a couple of Widow Mines alongside a Medivac too. It's quite dangerous. It can land some really devastating blows, but it is going to be the double Reapers.
Yep, so again, pulling a leaf out of the previous MVP's book that we were seeing in the past day or so. And now MMA just going to look to expand off the back of this.
HassuObs looking for that proxy factory, knowing that the 2 options here is that factory, or that it is the Reapers. And he hasn't found that yet, but still in the back of his mind, there definitely could be still a factory on the way inside the main base. So he's not sure if it is either, and there's no way for him to find out, unfortunately. So he has to get a Stalker. He needs to get this Mothership core to be safe. There's no way he can cut any corners to get any faster tech or something. He is going to expand normally. And the factory does come down just a little bit later here.
And the second Reaper even looking for that scout. So very, very nice here from him. Ace at MMA tweets, please stay hydrated, friends.
Cheers for the tip, pro.
Thanks. It's an important thing. You got to drink that water, man.
Got to stay focused.
Yeah.
All right, Zealot's going to move up here. There's 2 Marines. That's enough to deal with it anyway, but there is a 3rd and 4th. But he doesn't really want to let that SCV die building the command center. It does slow him down.
And just moving across here, having a look. He certainly gains himself a lot of map control with those 2 Reapers, scouting out pretty much everything that's going on, as well as controlling Zalnaga watchtowers, and even that Zealot probably going to end up dying here, the poor little guy.
Still, that HassuObs doesn't really know what's going on. He's now seen the double Reapers and seen Marines being made, but it doesn't have to be the factory still. It could be extra barracks coming down and a tech lab for Stim. So he's still in the dark a little bit here, but he has decided to play out very normal. He's just gone 1 gateway expand, 2nd Stalker, no sentry though, which is a little bit weird, because ideally, wouldn't you think, he'd like to use some hallucinated Phoenixes to pick up some intel here.
I guess he's just reliant now on getting the Observer out a little bit later, but you're right. I mean, having that out earlier, the scouting information earlier would have been nice here from HassuObs. So, and he does kill off that Reaper in the end. But the Reaper saw the Robo, which is, at this point, I mean, just confirmation that he knows what he's up to and pretty much a given.
But in trade-off of the Sentry to Stalker, is the Stalker's a lot better deal with Marines, or with Mines, or with Medivacs. So he, doesn't scout, but he has a bit of a better setup depending on what's coming. So he is starting to prepare himself. He's going to have to get like maybe 3 observers, 1 for each mineral line and 1 to go scout his opponents. That's where a bit of a gas sink will be for now.
And he should be able to read into this really without having too much intel in terms of gas timings and things like that. He doesn't know about the 3rd command center just yet, but that 1st observer is probably on the way over the map here for HassuObs. It's just going to take a little bit of a detour around and make sure that he can actually keep an eye on locations where medevac drops may come in.
Yeah.
As it is very important. It's just going to miss it.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate, isn't it? He's really going to have to use the Mothership core in these Stalkers. Well, he has no idea what's coming, but now he does spot it. But is HassuObs seen it? He's pulling his units from the natural. No Observer there yet. Oh, that mine! Oh, 3 kills.
That was
3 kills, not bad. 1 on the natural.
That was pretty long range there, and now here MMA also are pressuring the natural as well, forcing the retreat of the probes once again, and a connection with a stalker.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful about this.
This is great. This is great from MMA. He's killed 4 probes, I think, when Marine's getting 1, and then the 1 miner in the main base getting 3, and then the scouting probe, I suppose. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now he goes in and sees, barracks are late. That means the command center.
Yeah.
And MMA set up rather well now. A bit of a supply lead. 64 to 58. Ahead in workers. Oh no, actually 42 to 44. But with mules in the 3rd command center, he is ahead economically here.
Yeah, so HassuObs now, I mean, he's going to have to drop his 3rd Nexus at some point, but at the same time, there is a Marine already there, ready to actually try and shut down a probe if it were to go over there. With that Twilight Council on Forge now finished, armor is on the way.
Wait, okay, this is just Marines. Okay, I thought there was a mine there. Sorry,
yeah.
there's no observers, so I was a little bit worried.
He forces it back. So HassuObs still keeping himself fresh. It's 48 workers to 46 in favor of HassuObs, but you got to remember those mules that are keeping MMA nice and tidy. And he will kill off that Marine, so he should be able to expand pretty soon if he wants.
Yeah, he's got to be careful not to expand too early, but because the one thing that he knows very soon is that Stim will come out. He is going to throw that down. And, well, looks like he just threw down a couple of gateways first, so I'm not gonna rush it down, getting those extra gateways. It would have been a little bit earlier than normal, but definitely looking to get that down soon. Templar Archives incoming here for HasUOBS, but MMA set up beautifully so far. You know, he's actually had to call down a couple of supply onto his supply depots.
I guess in the end, you know, it's actually better just doing that than actually being supply blocked entirely. So. But you're right, that is there. It's a little bit of a slip, and there is actually a drop in the main here, as he's going to try and do some damage, but HassuObs already realizes that 3 Zealots aren't really going to be enough to push that back, but that cannons will certainly help.
Yeah, I think he got a single probe or 2 there, so it's not bad. Every little bit helps at this level.
Yeah.
He's just keeping his opponent pinned back, most importantly, so he knows that he can go and take his expansion very freely. But Storm is the big upgrade. That's the big thing that we all need to focus on from when HasUOBs is pretty safe. But of course, Storms can always be evaded, so it's not 100% safe. As MMA Stim is now finished up with +1 and combat shields, as all 3 upgrades do align, and he does have a bit of a supply advantage.
And I feel that Storm now for Protoss is just the go-to in comparison to Colossus a lot, but you got to be careful about how you do it here. These timings can be exploited, and MMA is looking to move in for a little bit of damage. Don't know if he's going to do much though. HasUOBs is set up quite nicely.
Yeah, he's set up quite nicely, but he's only got this +1 army. He doesn't have anything more than that. He is quite low on army supply because he did get that 3rd base down rather than building up an army defensively on 2 bases. HasUOBs now sees this. He sees it on the 3rd, and he also knows that he has to deal with this one on the right-hand side. He does feedback that well.
Feedback as well on that medevac as well there. Photon Overcharge will push that back at the 3rd. But Ghost Cadam is going down after MMA with this little bit of aggression, getting the intel he needs to know where his opponent tech lies. And that's a good position here for MMA. Open supply, slight supply blocked right now, but once he gets over that, getting those ghosts out to combat the storm that is now done for HasUOBs should be okay.
Is supply blocked again, 145. You see, he hasn't got a second engineering bay and armory either, so mistakes are happening here from the Korean.
That's a lot of Zealots as well. We have 16 Zealots out right now that are going to be able to tank quite nicely. +2 armor's not done anywhere near yet though. We only have +1 weapons out for MMA, so they're kind of negating one another in that regard. But HasUOBs with his 4 High Templars can start banking up the energy he requires for Storms, and I don't think MMA can do too much once 1 or 2 of those come out.
I think there's a couple of mistakes here that if the game keeps on going the way it is without HasUOBs taking damage, he's going to take a lead quite fast.
Yeah.
Without the second engineering bay and armory coming in, he's going to be stuck at 1-1. He has stopped his SCV production, but it's okay. It's at 67. It's not bad. But he's definitely, you know, not playing to strength that he needs later on.
Ooh. Medevac will get away. 4 health on that one. Has to be very, very careful about that. It would be very worth him actually just going home and repairing that fully, so it can actually do some drops later on. But MMA has already got the Vikings going, and double command centers going as well.
He's throwing double command centers down because he's got like 1,000 minerals. He's not spending his money quite well. He is, I said it before and I'll say it again, he is making mistakes. The second engineering bay is coming as well as the armory now, but it's quite late. And the robotics base switches in. If these upgrades had been better, MMA could be a bit, you know, stronger in this game. He could be doing more damage more cost efficiently and taking more fights. But with +2 armor now done and against 1-1, this is a good setup for HasUOBs. He's being a little bit aggressive on this right-hand side. Just with a couple of units, you know, if he gets into the SCV line, well, MMA's on the other side of the map here, but also he needs to balance his defense back at home too. He doesn't want to send units across and then not have enough units.
You bring up a really good point with the upgrades though here. Unless MMA can do some damage now, his upgrades may end up being falling behind quite considerably. The two ghosts move on forwards here, trying to EMP, get 1 or 2 sentries, but not much else, as well as a few zealots. Has to pull back. The High Templars though, well defended, and a bit of aggression here up to the north with these zealots and stalkers. So HassuObs, he's doing all right now.
He is doing good for himself, but he does need to use that second forge. That's where his advantage is in upgrades. If he gets +3 armor now, as well as that +1 attack we see. And it was nice that he was able to get into the SCV line just a little bit here, because that's now resources that MMA has to spend on replenishing a few SCVs he lost, and it's also not the best optimal income he could have had. And with this pylon on the right-hand side, it's not going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, you're right. He's just going to keep going with that. And MMA looking through the middle of the map here to try and do some damage as well. Good defensive setup there for MMA at that third base, so should be able to shut that down, as well as even hunting down the pylons. Very, very nicely done with these zealots. Just walking in between these two bases, not really going to get much done at all. MMA, very strong at home at the moment.
And MMA is upgrading the plating, actually, upgrades here. So I think eventually we may see Hellbats come in, but it's not going to help his damage out to the Vikings, as he does throw down additional starports here to start to climb up, realizing the transition is definitely around this time and he has no Vikings. So he needs to be very careful here.
And whoa, so did those zealots. That was a good concave setup there by MMA, just through natural progression across the map. So HassuObs didn't want to be taking that engagement. Drops the scan, sees the High Templars spreading themselves out, knows where they are. Don't really have that much energy as well, but there are a few High Templars in the back coming in for feedbacks as well as snipe out.
A very defensive play here from HassuObs. You know, he's just basically using the high ground, saying if you're coming up there, then I'm going to time warp and slow you down to make sure I can land the storms properly. So MMA, I think, in a straight up fight out in the open wins, but HassuObs is so defensive on the high ground up these hills that it's very difficult for MMA to find an opening.
And I don't know whether or not MMA wants to go into the longest of games here from HassuObs. It certainly looks like it, but HassuObs is going to gather a lot of strength once this game goes on further, as well, he's going to try and break down these rocks and come in. Ooh, scat.
Those units are very clumped up too, but there are Colossus now there, which he does see, so this is going to be very difficult to go in. The cloak is activated.
Ooh, good storm there. Tries to catch some of these ghosts as well. Catches 2 of them. Has to pull on back with those zealots. They did land 1 or 2 AMPs.
And a flanking High Templar just walks up and storms the mineral line, as you do.
That's what HassuObs loves to do, and even trying to pursue this army into the middle of the map. HassuObs right now has...
Well, he sees no Vikings, doesn't he? So he's like, all right, well, let's dance.
Let's dance, my friend. He has a lot of zealots still tanking here. +3 armor's going to finish along with +2 weapons. Well, I mean, +3 armor's going to finish at least, and that's going to help him a lot against this bio that's only stuck at +2 weapons. Oh, nice storm. Very nice there by HassuObs.
Very calm and collected here is MMA, even on his third base, isn't mining with all his SCVs because he was trying to repair the bunker.
And here comes another one.
Oh, that's like 100% storm.
That was perfect. That was one of the perfect storms. And, well, the High Templar before that didn't get so much, but SCVs here not working right now. They need to get on the job, and whoop, even Zealot's going in for the aggression as well here. HassuObs is picking away at MMA slowly and making it hard for him.
Yeah, he's flexing his muscles now. He can take a 4th base, he can be aggressive. He does have +2 attack about to finish as well as HassuObs. Gonna pick off a command center potentially here. Not too many Stalkers or a single Archon, so not the easiest of jobs. Another flanking High Templar, not quite enough for Storm.
Storm's going to have to land really well on Vikings to actually win this, because he doesn't have that many Stalkers or Archons or anything. So that's really, really important, but one command center gets absolutely obliterated. And he's going to run away for now.
Does need to get that +3 attack, though. He's getting the shields upgrade, just missing that +3 attack, as we are having
Warp Prism Speed.
Warp Prism Speed on the way. Sure, we'll see some, but 5 Vikings in a row now. The Ghost count currently at 12, and the Viking count at 10. So MMA's starting to get strong again. He's had to go all the way home, as we've seen now. He's on his side of the map, not HassuObs, but he is regaining strength. Now he's making his composition stronger, and as well as that, we have 3-3 on the way.
Oop, and gateways everywhere here for HassuObs. I mean, why not? If he gets his 4th base nicely saturated, then he's going to have the ability to actually replenish a lot of this. MMA has quite a bank going, but eventually, once a few more of his units do die off, I imagine he'll add on a lot of ghosts. His army value will become very, very large.
Yeah.
And Hasu.
Not the best fight. No, not the best fight up that ramp. He's getting a bit clumped up there. All these ghosts.
MMA has a great concave, but not too bad. Storm actually hits a lot of that bio to the left-hand side. Another Storm catches a lot of those ghosts. He has to be careful with those. But those Vikings are doing the damage.
That was not the best fight we've ever seen from a Protoss player. Going up that ramp, getting surrounded by on the right-hand side units from the high ground. And now MMA says, I just killed a lot of your units. Storm is really the only thing that can save HassuObs from losing a big chunk of his army. He's, bottlenecked up that ramp again. There's cannons there. Another EMP lands on this. HassuObs in a bit of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, 6 High Templar out on the field right now. Some of them without too much energy, but some of them with. So there still can be the Storms. MMA doesn't want to overextend too far with the Vikings. Again, that's his big source of anti-air. Although that being said, he's adding on quite a lot of Stalkers to the point where he has 18 now. So if he gets the opportunity to actually blink him once it's finished, then he could do some damage to them.
But there's only 2 Colossus. That's the big problem with his composition right now. Because he lost a lot of the Colossus, he only has 2 protect. So what happens now if the Vikings get destroyed so early? What the hell are the Stalkers going to be doing? They're not going to do anything to all these Marauders and Ghosts. So that's a bit of a problem, I feel, with HassuObs' composition.
Yep, he's got to balance this a bit better. +3 weapons will finish in a bit, whilst we have a 5th base going down. The Zealots and Dark Templar are going to go for some aggression across the map again here. Hasu still has to be careful with these move rounds. He just walked straight into this army, and he's going to lose a few of his units.
Yeah, the Colossus comes down, loses like 20% of its hit points, and has to retreat once again here. MMA is controlling this game once again, but we do have DTs and Zealots that are going to start harassing. Do we have a Warp Prism in this game yet? We do not. I think he's been a bit too pressured to be able to squeeze that out. Because ideally, I think he'd love to be warping in Zealots into the main base. If he can warp in Zealots or get units in there, the whole focus is on the right-hand side of this map.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's not getting up the front door, so he needs a Warp Prism.
Yeah, even that partial flush with that missile turret, it's not going to allow anything in there. So it's going to be hard to break straight down the throat. Oh, what a perfect scan. Actually sees the entire positioning of this army. Where are you going? You need to be fighting. You don't want to be moving like that. He loses a lot of his army there in the process. A lot of free damage been done, but the Storms will try and retain this for now, but he's caught.
There's one Storm. There's like one Storm he's stuck over, and that's an expensive chunk of Protoss units. And here we see, look at it, the Vikings are going to come in, pick off the Colossus, then they should get out of there, and then everything just comes in. He's going to lose everything.
Yeah, no Mothership Core there to actually recall out. Guardian Shield goes up to try and get out of here, but the mules as well. MMA knows he is in a position of power. And HassuObs, where were you going, my friend?
Oh, the Mana Mules coming in from MMA. We've seen those in finals before. We've seen them before. And right now, MMA is leading this game quite convincingly with army movements from HassuObs that we don't usually see from him. He's going up ramps blindly. He's getting EMP'd. He's losing units for free. And MMA takes full advantage. A Storm does come down and try to hold him off.
Not too bad, but he's going to get a Nexus in response here is MMA. And again, his army supply is vastly superior. 125 to 50 right now. HassuObs doesn't really have the opportunity to replenish. He's trying to land Storms, but MMA absolutely crushing on through.
This is a lot of momentum here, and HassuObs is swimming up the tide. And look at it, like, where does he go from this position? He's lost his 5th base. He still is on 4, so he still has a decent income. But now with the momentum swing that MMA has, he can very easily take the base on the left-hand side. He's got full map control. HassuObs has to hide behind every rock up every hill until he's ready to move out again, and that's not going to be for a long time with the income he has, only really on 2 mining bases.
Yeah, I guess the one thing he could try and do here is try and get these Colossi out. Nuked. And there's more Ghost Academies on the way. But,
didn't work.
We keep seeing this happen. He keeps losing these Ghosts when they nuke. But, again, yeah, if he gets the Colossi out, there's only 5 Vikings.
Yes.
So he would need to replenish that, but still, it's a long shot here. He needs to land good stuff. But those are great EMPs! Only 1 Storm ends up going down, killing off all the Ghosts, but remaining is no Storms whatsoever, as now HassuObs is under so much pressure. The Archon's trying to morph in, but the ground army absolutely wrecking the Protoss.
And MMA changing up his game. Against Naniwa, he lost 0-2 in the round of 16, and he looks like a different man today, a different player today, as he is scanning absolutely everywhere, making sure that there are no DTs in his army, and he is absolutely brutalizing HassuObs for the last couple of minutes. GG. MMA takes 2-0.
Wow.
He's up 2-0 in this best of 5.
Was not expecting that, but there you go. MMA looking, again, as you said, like a different person.
He's smiling now. He wasn't smiling before. He was nervous. He was worried about playing against HassuObs, but he's now opening up. He's giggling. He's laughing.
Oh, much calmer now is MMA. But over on the other side of things for HassuObs, He must be feeling a little bit shell-shocked here. I think he came in thinking that he was the favourite in regards to his ability to actually advance on.
Yeah, I think that HassuObs is definitely stunned, I think is the correct word here to use. Coming into this series, said to himself, as we can actually have a couple of last moments here, and I'd love to see HassuObs, who's got MMA's reaction. HassuObs says, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
His hands are shaking. His hands are shaking.
Look at it. He knows he's in trouble. He knows he's in trouble now. One game away from being eliminated here in the round of 8. Would have to play in the 5th and 6th placement matches tomorrow to maybe grab that important 5th or 6th place. But right now, it's MMA full steam ahead. And if you just look at HassuObs' game plan from the get-go, he was like, all right, I can beat this guy. I can beat this guy. And I know he felt like that. We saw his confidence. And he opened up game 1 with a proxy Oracle in hope to get an easy victory against MMA, who may not be expecting that kind of play style from HassuObs. Then HassuObs says, all right, you know, it didn't work. Chloris, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
I guess I go back to how I usually play and how I usually win. It didn't work. And now we're left 0-2 behind. He is in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble now.
This is going to be difficult for HassuObs. Next map's going to be Derelict Watcher here, and after we'll have Wellmu versus MC. The winner of this will play against the winner of Wellmu versus MC. And right now, it's looking like it's going to be MMA's time to shine moving on to the round of 4 if Hasu does not step it up here in this best of 5. One more map for the Terran to advance on as the countdown's begun.
And something to note as well is that after 3 games, 3 maps, the players are given a couple of minutes break to collect themselves. So this is, you know, a good moment for HassuObs to start the comeback. If not, he's out, so he's going to have to be the comeback or not. But he will be able to take a couple of minutes after this game anyway to collect himself ready for the later stages of this best of 5. But at the moment, MMA is cruising.
He is. It's looking like the clean sweep could be on the cards for that man in green, going up against the man in red, as we have Acer versus Mousebots. Let's jump into game number 3, and spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our red Terran, representing Acer and Korea. Ladies and gents, give it up for MMA. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, on the verge of elimination here in WCS Europe round of 8. Spawning as our blue Protoss, representing Mousebots and Germany. Give it up for HassuObs.
He's going to need all the support he can get here to stop this. Because MMA, like we said, he's just looking at such a different player today. And it's only been like, he only had a day break.
Exactly, just to kind of compose himself and go through his thoughts and have a little bit of practice. Maybe look at what his opponent will be up to. But it seems to have worked, whatever he did.
But one thing we must consider, as good as HassuObs is as an individual and as a European Protoss player, MMA did play against Naniwa. And remember that game on Newkirk when MMA was leading, but Naniwa played so good. Really one of the best games I've seen from him in quite a while, actually, in that matchup. But we'll see if HassuObs can do the same, scouting around his natural and up to his 3rd base. This is the optimal time for a Terran player to do 2 things. 1, cheese out and win 3-0, or say, you're going to be looking for that. I'm going to go like this.
Command center first, baby. It's a nice one. But from Season 1 to Season 2, it's weird how things have happened, because as Probe's taking an interesting direction for that scout, as you mentioned. But in Season 1, we had those predictable names that could have just taken it all. We had the MVP, we had the Stefano, but now we've got just a wealth of completely new players, and I can't actually predict who's going to take Season 2 in its entirety. They could go so many different ways because of how the bracket's shaped up, because of the new players coming forward, because of all veterans coming back.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
I reckon you get some pretty good odds on Wellmu for winning this thing too. If you were to put money on that guy, trust me, he's definitely an underdog which can win it all.
Certainly.
And of course we've got players like Naniwa taking the torch away from Stefano now, as many people are expecting to see. But of course we've got Vortex, the Protoss killer, and an MMA, the Zerg killer. So we'll kind of see how this works itself out. But we do see HassuObs taken outside of his main gas, so he can get down this Nexus just a little bit faster upon seeing that MMA's opened up command center first.
Yeah, super important here for HassuObs. Just wants to keep the pace up with his opponent. And MMA is going to go across the map here and see the timing of the Nexus, whilst HassuObs starts to be annoying with the probe with his little taser. So This is going to even out a little bit. Maybe a slight favour of MMA in regards to that command centre first. It's always a nice thing to get away with for Terran.
Yeah, that's right. You nailed that one, because if you can get away with it, you feel, oh boy, yeah. But you've got to keep checking. You've got to make sure that there's no additional gateways thrown down, that he's not coming to try and get you before you can get your stim and your gas is put down. And by the looks of it, with MMA going in the scene, just one gateway, second gas, Chronoboost into the Nexus here, not the Cybernetics core. MMA looks like he's going to throw down a third command center to really ramp it up another notch.
It's another get away with. I mean, he salvages the bunker, realizing, I don't need this. I'm just going to play super greedy here once again. And this is a great opener here from MMA, really showing how well he can read into his opponent and just capitalize on that.
This is a very strong opening from the Korean, representing his team very well, and in such a consistent rise recently.
Yeah. Definitely.
He just keeps on going up and up and up. Last season was round of 16. This season, round of 8. You mentioned it, and results in team leagues, he's been doing fantastic as well.
And I think it's good to see, because MMA was one of those fan favorite Koreans that was just, you know, he was one of everyone's favorite Terrans, and the fall off was a little sad. It was sad, but now back seemingly and doing very well for himself here in WCS EU.
Yeah, some classic games. Yeah, MMA versus MVP, MMA versus Dongregu, all these old school classic ones always will live part of all StarCraft fans' memory. But going into this game now, we have HassuObs actually throwing down 2 gateways after his single, and not tech. And this is a little bit alarming here. Because I say that because that will allow him to increase his gateway count, but he's not getting any closer towards splash damage. He's not getting a robotics facility down for the robotics bay. He hasn't added on the Forge or Twilight Council yet. And a lot of Protoss players accelerate that. They go 1 gateway Nexus, Forge, Twilight Council at the same time, Robo, before adding on additional gateways. So I'm a little bit interested in what HassuObs' game plan. Maybe he's a little bit scared, but I don't think he should be. So, you know, what really is he looking to do with these gateways?
And you're right, it's very delayed. The scan goes down, doesn't see any tech, just sees 2 gateways, not too much. Bunker goes back up and drops another scan in the natural. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, why have you got 2 gateways down and finished up? Where's your tech?
And there's the Twilight Council.
It's inside the main base. So, you know, MMA's a bit questioned and a bit confused himself.
Has to be careful with the Stalkers and does keep mindful of them. We'll pull them back.
With the Twilight Council coming down, is he going to go straight to Templar Archives here and maybe look for a 2-base Storm Bust? To try to break down MMA before he can really get ready?
It's a risk, right? Because I mean,
it is, but
there's no forges. He's not getting upgrades.
Yeah.
He's not got any transitionary methods out of that.
Yeah, look at that. He's gone straight towards the Templar Archives. So he's going to research Zealot Charge. He's got about 400 gas to do both here. He can get Zealot Charge. He can get the Templar Archives. You want to get Storm, and there's the pile. Oh my god! HassuObs' build is starting to make sense now.
It certainly is.
This is nerve-wracking because we can all see that he's dedicating a lot of resources away from longevity, along from upgrades that can further his army in the later stages.
That being said, though, I mean, we saw Protoss have success with this. Wasn't it Grubby who was, or was it Hasu who was doing this against
MVP?
Yeah.
And here come 3 additional gateways.
There was success with it.
But it really depends on MMA and what they do. MVP he had star senses to find this thing.
Yeah.
He was so lucky in some aspects as well. And here is King Chronos, so the 3rd base is going down. MMA needs to figure out. He needs to scan, he needs to send a unit, he needs to something to see this. Otherwise, he will get surprised, and that could be HassuObs' start of the comeback.
And it's a very cool play here from HassuObs in terms of actually going even higher than 8 gateways. You dedicate so much gas to High Templars and Zealots with just minerals. It balances out very nice, so you can actually get a lot of units out very fast here for HassuObs. So MMA, he's moving across the map. Storm's going to be done.
Zealot Charge is done too. And he's moving across the map with no medivacs. No medivacs with this army. If HassuObs is able to find this and just catch it all, couple of force fields, time warp if needed, HassuObs would start the comeback right here. 2 Marines stim up to see the 3rd, and they're like,
there's no
okay, that can be okay, I suppose. High Templar, do you have Storm? Oh! I don't think High Templar should have been there, though.
No, they shouldn't have been.
I think the Zealot should have been there. Double Forge now coming down as well.
This is the transition opportunity, but now HassuObs is looking to sit himself between the 2nd and 3rd base, maybe even force the 3rd base away somehow.
But he's got a Marine on the 3rd base. He sees exactly what's going on. If he sees that 3rd Nexus, alarm bells aren't as active anymore.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, MMA's like, huh?
What is this?
Of course he still needs to be very careful with this. If the Nexus is a fake or not, could easily cancel it. Very easily cancel it and warp in some more Stalkers, but double upgrades are coming in.
Here comes Hasu parking himself in between these bases. Force fields go down, he catches a little bit of that bio. No attempt at a pickup there with those medevacs, as they would have been hit by the feedbacks as well as Stalkers. And once again, gotta be a bit careful.
Remember that MMA is mining from a third too, which you really shouldn't be here.
And another storm on this bio here. The Zealots trying to get a position, but the force field was actually working against them there. Oh, a lot of SCVs go down, as well as more storms, but does he have enough gateway units here to continue the attack?
He's got no close pylon. It's actually a little bit too far back, and he needs the Zealots over there immediately, otherwise he's going to lose his High Templar, lose his Sentries, maybe the Mothership Core. Where are the Zealots?
Oh, I don't think this is going to work out too well here. The Zealots are coming along. That one storm helping out a lot. That bio is not very healthy anymore. Army supplies, 36 to 52. With a lot of it in the red here. Picks up and gets away.
Oh, this is very tense. Remember, the bunker is down here, and those Marauders are exposed. He has to hide behind the mineral line. SCVs coming to try to hold a position. They do hold that position well. But MMA is still mining from this third base. He shouldn't be. Like, a single Zealot prevents the mining, and HassuObs goes up and says, oh, you should have evacuated that earlier, because I could have come up there, and I could have killed everything. Luckily, I do now, but still kind of close in supply.
But the army has positioned itself to actually deny the reinforcements here, so he's getting some free Zealot kills with the High Templars. Do not have energy for Storm. He needs to buy time, so that when the Storm comes out, he can actually pin this in from both sides with those Zealots, which he certainly has the opportunity to. He needs to pick up and get away, but he's not. He's trying to kite. And there's the Storm that's going to kill off a lot of this bio. That pickup was a little bit later than I was expecting.
Very close in army supply, still very, very tense between these two players. Remember, HassuObs wins this. The series continues. He's not mining from his third yet. 1-1's about to complete, though. That does help. That does help a lot here.
That's a lot of Zealots he has as well. Not that many Storms left over behind all of this. There are 5 High Templars, but they're not even here to actually continue this. Time Warp as well as the retreat out.
He's got to wait. He can send off a few Zealots, but he's got Storm now.
Yeah, and he has sent actually some Zealots down to that third base, so they're just going to keep that busy for now, making sure that nothing can happen there. HassuObs, despite the little bit of a worse start to this engagement, has kind of evened things up. He needs to land the proper Storms, though.
Yeah, and the Archon gets picked off very easily there for not really losing too much. Storms are ready, though. So MMA spreads realizing this. And MMA has taken so much damage now through losing units and probes, SCVs. He is down quite low. He's not mining from his third. That HassuObs is okay not to kill his opponent here.
Yeah,
remember that. He's got a third. He's got 2-2 on the way. So he doesn't need to kill him. So
the Widow Mine.
The Widow Mine is nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no Robo. Why would you have a Robo here when you're dedicating all of your gas to these High Templar builds so early? And
I like this. This is really smart. Just to come behind the lines, pick up the pylon, and then get out again. Hopefully, that's really smart.
Run away.
HassuObs now actually probably needs to start thinking about defense at home. He's warping in some units. But the attack has stopped. HassuObs is content with the damage he's done. He'd obviously like a little bit more, but now he needs to balance his own greed. Because you absolutely want to continue to do damage, but you don't want to lose everything you've got. He does have the Mothership Core, which will have energy for a recall here, so I suppose it is okay.
Yep, can do some damage. I mean, every single second he is stood here, he is denying mining from his opponent's third, whilst he's mining back at home. The upgrades here, a little bit in favor of MMA, and he is getting those ghosts. But that being said, actually, he doesn't have +2 armor, does MMA, so needs to get that started. Little Storm, clips a little bit of that.
I like this. I like this position he's in. He's got a lot of Storm on the high ground. And to be honest, he could actually recall with everything if he needs to at any point. And it's not in threat, the Mothership Core of being destroyed. 2 robotics facilities coming in, so he's trying to go over to Colossus here. But he's got to be careful of all these units that are moving across the map. If they were to get to the third base and it was undefended, then HassuObs loses his lead. And that's the balance here. That's the balance. He needs to keep his lead. He doesn't want to risk it.
He has a few units in his third, but not at his natural. So he will buy himself time for that recall.
He recalls. Smart decision. Actually, leaves a couple of High Templar on the high ground here, which is a bit of a mistake, but
they're going to try and walk home.
If they can get a couple of kills now, anything's great.
Well, catches a few Marines.
4 or 5 Marines, that's okay. They were going to die, so. But now 2-2 is done.
2-2 is done. 82 armor supply. Oh,
what
nice
the
Storm.
hell?
Where did you come from, Mr. High Templar?
I thought all those got slaughtered off on the right-hand side, but apparently not. 1 High Templar broke through.
And now that is a lot of Zealots. He has 27 Zealots out.
Look how much minerals he's got as well.
Yeah, opportunity here to supply nicely. Look at the supply advantage he's just taken there with this last warp in.
Yeah, he's got to be careful though. He's still got no really splash damage there. A drop is coming. He's got really no defense. 2 Immortals. Definitely would like to see the robotics bay thrown down.
Yeah.
So we can go over to Colossus.
That supply advantage is in workers. 75 to 40 right now. So,
very, very good.
Yeah. He's actually killed off 29 during the entirety of this. This drop from MMA is nice to try and draw his opponent back, try and force a few warp-ins here, and make sure that the aggression is not going to continue. RoboBay goes down as well, so that transition is on the way. MMA, he needs his third base up so that he can transition onto Vikings himself properly.
Yeah. What I would love to see as well is a Warp Prism. This is the right time, right before you start your Colossus production. Because his goal now, HassuObs, should be sit back and defend until Colossus are ready. But what happens if you squeeze a Warp Prism in and start dropping inside his main base while you're being defensive? He is going to get 3-3, which is of course needed here as well.
I think, you know, with the worker supply being so in favor of HassuObs and the army supplies being exactly the same as well here, the Zealot does spot the drops as well, so HassuObs has a fantastic opportunity in game number 3 to take back a map in this best of 5 and start that comeback. It's so important for him here. Losing this and you're dead.
Yeah, those units he's warping in is slowing his Colossus production down.
It's true.
Like he needs to get going with that, but it's also expensive. It's 600 gas to start going. Blink is also going to slow him down. He really needs that, and the reason why he needs it is because there's ghosts now. EMPs ruin everything he's got.
Yeah, it's a lot of ghosts, 9 in fact here. The Zealot's going to kill off this, but he has to be careful. He needs those ghosts with his main army as well if that engagement does come. And we'll pull back as he can force it away with the... Whoa, wait a minute. Actually, he shouldn't be taking that engagement just yet.
Not without Storm, no. But he does have a couple High Templar there. He's got that 600 gas. Come on, let's see Colossus. Let's see Thermal Lance.
So that's the blink as well, trying to catch out some of those air units, which are the most important aspects of this army, along with the ghosts here. The charge forwards, but those Zealots were being funneled quite nicely around that corner, so bad engagement.
He's got to start that Colossus and Thermal Lance. He's coming in for a storm on that army.
Oh, and it does land. A fantastic storm, in fact.
Wow, that was nice.
Very nice. The High Templar dies off, but certainly not in vain. A lot of damage done.
There we go. Took a few seconds.
They're going to get stuck.
High pressured situation.
I think they might get stuck.
Screw pylons.
Screw pylons. Well, they'll scoot around. I think there is a little bit of opportunity there for them to move around. But anyway, HassuObs now maxed out. Army supply 132 to 111. MMA's third base is shut down so long that he actually doesn't even have his 6th gas geyser down just yet. So a little bit of gas in the bank and does need to start that Viking production.
He also needs to start +2 armor too, because the Colossus rays will just destroy everything. Everything. Like, you cannot play with +1 armor here. You need every little bit you can get when it comes to your armor. And their +2 does start. But yeah, I mean, +2 armor now starts. What's the Vikings at? 0.
They did find a way out. All is good. But the thing is that HassuObs, again, this is a very, very similar style to the style he played against MVP. He seems a little bit more comfortable on this map than he did on the previous two, which is weird, considering it was Bolshevik Vestige. He has a very, very set game plan going into this map, and it works out really well. Initially, it didn't look like it was going to, but even then, he still made it work.
He's been kicked in the balls. And it hurts.
Yeah.
And now he's playing better.
Yeah.
Because it was a shock. He was stunned after 2 maps in a row. But now he is playing much, much better.
And gets one of the Zealots in the end.
All right, so how's his Colossus count going? He's at 2. You want about 4 to 6, ideally 6, I guess. That's a big, nice power move, but he is a little low on supply, so...
And then Viking numbers, how many is MMA wanting here to deal with, like, 426 Colossus?
You want to be up to, like, 12 plus.
Yeah.
Between 12 and 16. 16 may be high, like 12, 14 is fine.
All right, and Hasu now just spreading his units out here and there to try and do some damage, or maybe even just protect his 4th base as well, knowing that there's the potential for that drop.
Yeah, and he's got the Dark Shrine coming, so he would love to actually, I think on the left-hand side here, that was nice. Should definitely look to build some pylons, so he can actually use the Dark Shrine, because if he's not getting the Warp Prism right, then he has to use it somehow, and you don't really want to walk all the way across the map.
I think Hasu, with the position he's in, I think he has the opportunity to actually deny MMA's 4th base from going down for a long, long time. If he had those pylons in place, for example, and was able to deny these drops, he just chase this away for now.
Well, HassuObs is going to move out soon. He's been waiting for a very, very long time, but the next part of his waiting, the first part was his Colossus. The second part is making sure he has a 4th base. So once these cannons complete, and there's 4 on the way, which I suppose they're all on that 4th, he will move out. He absolutely will move out. He's losing his timing, right? So timing here is against MMA's upgrades, +2 armor, +2 ships, cloak, all these different things. And also at the same time, he's banking a ton of money, so he needs to start to use it So attack and then reinforce, but he needs pylons out. He needs to reinforce his pylons, to reinforce his army, with pylons.
And he does now know that that base is going down, but MMA is looking to defend, but I don't think he can really. The Vikings get in a very good position here to deny this, but the blink forwards will occur and bring down 1, 2. And does he get a third? No, he does not. He's taking a lot of damage with those Stalkers.
Miscontrol there.
Oh, but nice force fields will put a lot of that bio in, and there's the save as well.
Interesting choice to take this 4th base down here. Yeah. I mean, there's a pylon in the army, so I think the proper place probably would have been north here. And this is good for HassuObs because MMA doesn't really have any mineral income at this stage of the game. His gas is going to start to shoot up because he's still mining gas on all 6, but he's not got any minerals. So HassuObs is suffocating him in true traditional HassuObs style.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's going to be Season 3 by the time HassuObs finishes up his bracket, as MMA now here trying to deal with what is coming along. And as I said before, HassuObs knows that he can just deny his opponent's 4th base over and over and over and over with the army advantage he has.
All right, so HassuObs is clearly leading this game. MMA needs a big fight. Big, good fight.
In the open, spread out everywhere, big concave.
If HassuObs walks into the army again, then the game is lost. But I would say the only way for HassuObs to lose this game is to make that critical mistake of walking into the army. You know, no observer with his army. That's another thing that a lot of Protoss players fall down on. And actually just looking, there is one observer, but it's not with the army. So that is a bit of a problem. For example, if all his High Templars were to get, EMP'd and there was Ghosts cloaked up, which they do have, that's kind of the only alarming thing, I think, at this point. Apart from that, he's in the leading position. He's winning the race.
I think that's one of the most frustrating things to see when you watch a PVT, when someone doesn't have an observer with the army and there's like 10 Ghosts just hitting away. But now seeing that Widow Mine, that might have triggered, observer production.
Yeah, he's got 2 more coming in. I think he realized his mistake there.
Yeah. So he's actually going to pressure up to the north as well here, trying to deny this base as that missile turret lands to deny a DT from doing any more damage. But it's a planetary fortress, can't lift that off. If this area is breached, that planetary fortress will go down.
Yeah, he knows that's where MMA is going to try and get his money from, to take his gold, take his minerals. So it is a bit of a focus point for HassuObs, whether that be just warping DTs and Zealots to that location while fighting another, wherever he's fighting up there himself. Whatever it is, he does know that's important.
And HassuObs, despite having a supply advantage and the armies being exactly the same size, doesn't want to be taking the engagement just yet. He will dodge it for quite a long time. 12 Ghosts are out for MMA, so he can land a lot of EMPs, has a lot of energy saved up, and that planetary fortress will hold on for now. This engagement, is he actually going to take it? Don't think so.
Nah, you got EMP too much there.
No.
Still, HassuObs just spooning it up, as we like to say in StarCraft. Because he is really taking it slow. And picks off 3 Marauders for nothing. That's always nice. Just a couple of units here and there. Oh, there's the cloak. There's the EMPs. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Close your eyes. He's actually getting EMP'd on everything.
Oh, those EMPs hit absolutely everything. Does he have a few High Templars at the back? He doesn't. He has 1 High Templar.
He's got 1 Storm there. He's on the right hand side. He's got to be so careful about getting EMP'd.
Oh, he blinks forwards here. He's going to do a little bit of damage to these Vikings.
Oh my god.
MMA could have just taken an absolutely miracle engagement. HassuObs, where were you going? You took so much damage.
Yeah, that's exactly what I described. Must not happen if he wants to be able to stay in this best of 5.
Even 1 or 2 of the High Templars here that were the kings of actually trying to bring this back and not doing what they need to do.
Oh my gosh, what is he doing here? He's causing so much trouble. There's no Colossus. The Vikings are on the low ground. 2 Colossus are coming in. Is this it? Is this how it goes down after all this hard work?
Very little splash damage here from HassuObs as the army supplies dwindle here for him. The concave for MMA was fantastic. No splash damage at all keeps HassuObs down here.
DTs and a storm. Is this going to be enough? He needs to get the Zealots in there. The Blink Stalkers blink back. I can't even talk.
Oh, those DTs are actually doing so much here. They could be the absolute saviors. Another storm here. HassuObs takes a supply advantage with these Dark Templars. He's going to push him back.
Jesus, did he make that hard for himself? Did he make him... He made it so hard for himself. That shouldn't have been that hard.
A scan could have changed everything there. But MMA just did not realize in the moment of panic, in the moment of hesitation, in the moment of engagement, he did not realize, and now HassuObs is on the way to do some damage to his opponent.
Wow, yeah, he is. He's got Colossus on the way. He's got High Templar. He's spending his gas, remember, which MMA doesn't have.
What on
and
earth?
now 90 supply army, and that's it. GG. Whoa. He almost dropped it. He almost dropped the ball.
Cutting it close there, HassuObs. Jeez. But there you go. It's 2-1 now in this best of 5. And that could have gone either way if Hasu hadn't reacted in just that exact way. It was a gamble even to go for Dark Templars at that point. It was a gamble. Scan goes down, they are dead. And they're not really that cost effective.
And yeah, here's the last couple of moments. So look at HassuObs, he's like, oh, I didn't mess up. I almost did.
Ooh.
Let's have a look.
There you go.
Yeah.
That relief on HassuObs' face there in that last game.
Both players have been notified by the admin that if they want, they can take a few minutes. And by the looks of it, as you can see, they don't want it.
Yeah.
They don't want it. So they are going to just continue through this, and we will be jumping into the next game. HassuObs denies the break, and likewise as MMA just wanting to keep on going with this series. MMA still in match point position, though.
All right. What map is Whirlwind here? We could see the tie-up, but at the same time, MMA taking the engagement he did there at the very end. It's clear once again that MMA is on form right now in terms of actually dealing with that, because there was moments there for a long time he was starved, for a long time he was on the back foot for huge chunks of that game, but then takes that one opportunity to get the perfect engagement and hits it. He absolutely hit it, and then even still could not win. So MMA knows when to go. He certainly does.
All right, I think I know what's going through his head right now. I must not lose 2 cheese.
Yeah.
The funny thing is he's been scouting every game for it, yet it really hasn't come aside from that game 1 where both of them went for it. So I think that's definitely up there in HassuObs' mind. But what is MMA going to do? Is MMA going to be doing that? Is he going to play normal? Is he command center first again? Does HassuObs take the rest of cheese himself now? These are all the decisions that both these players really going through their minds on. Which is the right one?
It's a map that brings weird dynamics, as it is one that is the...
It is meant to be the macro map, but it's not sometimes.
Exactly. As we now jump into game number 4 here to see if Hasu can bring it back or if MMA can advance on 3-1. Spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner here as our Red Terran. Currently 2 games up to 1, representing Korea and Acer. Ladies and gents, give it up for MMA. And up to the top left, a crowd favorite here in Germany, also representing Mouse Sports, trying to bring it back. Give it up for Maus HassuObs.
Obviously got a lot of support here today. The only German left in the round of 16, the only German left in the round of 8. I suppose that's not going to change between the two.
No.
And we are in Germany live from Cologne, Germany, where we are continuing through, and we will finish by the end of today the round of 8. Tomorrow we'll be going into the 5th and 6th placement matches. 2 games there to decide who is 5th and who is 6th to just get those important places to play in the Season 2 finals.
Yep.
And then of course we'll be jumping directly after that into the semis, and then finals. But now, for now, we're all focused on game number 1. And SCV's still being made, so command center first is the choice here from MMA.
I like it. I mean, it's a map where, you know, with all 4 positions available to you, there is a lot of uncertainty factors. MMA still that 1 map up. The risk, I think, is valid.
Only 1 gas from HassuObs too. He did get 15 gas. I thought maybe it was a double 15 or 15-16, but still on 1. Oh, no, okay.
Here is the second.
Second gas before 7-8 score, a little bit later. So he has options, depending on how many he has in gas. Only 2 in this main one. And we'll see what happens after that, because he's delayed the second gas a little bit here to be able to get the cyber core down at a decent time. But he's in 3 in that one, Kalaris. And he's going to scout his opponent in last position.
Yeah.
This may sound bad, but it is also good. Because by the time that he sees that his opponent isn't bottom right, he now knows where his opponent is by process of elimination. Therefore, he doesn't need to go up to scout him. He can just put the proxy down if that's what he wants to do. Just put the pylon down, usually in around this location.
Could do. We'll see if he wants to do that.
And now the decision there. He now knows where MMA is. Does he decide to do it? Does he just go ahead and build his regular unit pattern? Stalker is saving gas over Sentry. Warp Gate research to start. Stalker being chronobusted out here. All 3 in gas. Is he going to throw... Oh, okay, the pylon's there.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to throw it down at the bottom. He's going to throw it down here, surely.
He's going to do it anyway?
If he
going
does
to double pylon?
Because, I mean, it's a great spot to throw it down at the very bottom of your main, I mean.
Oh, in the main,
Sorry,
you mean?
because of the pylon placement. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what we were expecting, Sean.
Oh.
Panic.
He's deciding. He's deciding to spend his gas this way. All right, so DT build is quite likely here. Very likely.
Double gas being taken back
And
here.
he's got a probe that he's going to hide.
Is he going to have an engineering bay? I don't think so.
MMA scouted cross position, then scouted bottom right, so he's actually ultra late. And the pylon's going to be down there for him to use and warp in the DTs from around this location, probably.
And Stalker will deny the scouting of any natural, or should do at least, if he's clever about it. So.
Oh, blink. Really?
What? Well,
did not expect this at all.
No, not on this
Did
map.
not expect this.
Not on this map.
And MMA, upon not scouting, must be like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
He's got a supply depot on the right-hand side there to make sure he's actually kind of covered the whole range of his base to make sure he sees as much as possible as soon as possible. But HassuObs is saying to himself that it's going to be this way. It's going to be a blink play.
What a
this
risk.
This SCV scouts.
Is he going to see anything?
Does he get past the Stalker? Does he see the no natural? A second Stalker comes.
1, 2, 3.
I think that's already a bit of a tell. I'm like,
yeah.
that's 2 Stalkers there, man. 2 Stalkers out this early.
I think just
A scan! Oh, he scans!
To get the
MMA
confirmation.
scans and sees no natural. This is massive to dedicate to a scan like that.
All right.
And immediately all this is coming down. But remember, it is blink play. He's got no robotics facility, no mothership core. So it is just. Oh, actually, sorry, I take that back. He's got a mothership core, so he does have a bit of.
He has to go soon. He has to deny these bunkers somehow. He has to go soon, but I don't think he can. He can't. With 3 Stalkers, there's nothing he can do. He has to warp in as quickly as possible, but then even then, blink isn't done.
He can blink into the main base though, from that third base with the mothership core use.
He's going to have to
It's
queue
a
it up
little
very
bit harder.
nicely.
Yeah, it is a little bit harder to pull off, but
Yeah.
it definitely can go. A Forge is coming in. I think that's just in case of any Widow Mines, so he can just make sure he's got a cannon. But
Yeah.
remember, if HassuObs loses MMA,
Such a gamble.
MMA may be back, maybe onto the semi-finals, gets his Season 2 placement just like he wants, and he's set up defensively. 2 Marauders coming in, a Widow Mine on the way as well.
Uh-oh.
I think the German player's in trouble, man. I'm going to
Certainly.
be honest here. I think he's in trouble, and MMA, his rise continues here if he's able to pick this win up.
He knows there's a second bunker there, so he knows
scans
how much
again.
is...
He scans again. He's still right
sees
in the
it.
main base. He sees everything. He sees the Twilight Council. He sees the 4 gateways. He sees the Forge as well. He knows everything's there.
Oh, the setup for MMA is fantastic here, and HassuObs is going to
Mine.
just try and blink past it entirely.
But this is where you
might
pull your
happen.
SCVs.
Exactly. Yeah, how do you actually deal with this? He only has 7 Stalkers. He might try and blink some up from the third base. But again, this is...
He's trying to get stim. He picks off the one tech lab. He gets the other
good
one.
pick off.
No stim.
But I don't think he can do this. He's going to try and retreat out here. But he has to be careful about his blink. Okay, blinking back separately, but loses the Stalker anyway. Loses the second.
2. It's more
Oh.
difficult to blink there. And now the starport's on the way. HassuObs has got to keep on going with this. It's very difficult to not. It's 2 winner mines. Oh, nice blink.
Nice blink there, and he actually realizes another
nice blink.
very nice control here from HassuObs. If anything's going to bring him back from this position now, it's control like that, but still.
MMA supply blocked, man. He's freaking out a little bit here. He's got 600 minerals. He's not going to be able to build anything once these barracks are done. He's going to have to slap down a lot of supply depots. That's going to help HassuObs a little bit here.
Oh, and supply blocking him a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Has to blink on out, though. Doesn't want to lose too many of these Stalkers. Bye-bye, second Stalker.
Oh, it's another 2 Stalkers. You can't keep losing them like that.
And it's 7 Marauders and 7 Marines even. So that's still a lot of firepower that MMA has here with those 2 Widow Mines at the front as well. Hasu has to find a way to transition out. He's going for the Nexus, but he's so far behind.
He's so far behind. 25 probes to 39 SCVs and Mule Stim. Doesn't matter, they got cancelled. He's got Widow Mines everywhere. He's defended this absolutely perfectly. The scan was a beautiful, really beautiful scan. And now the German player is in a lot of trouble. And the former 5-time Premier StarCraft 2 champion is making a bit of a comeback. This is the highest finish he's had in over a year and a half. And that is a long time. Everything else has been round of 16. This is his highest finish. And now it's about time that he got a big result again. And this tournament could be his tournament.
I mean, it's let's say it's not over just yet, but MMA has a massive lead right now. The supply blocks from HassuObs onto MMA were very, very good to just kind of keep him pinned back a little bit, but with 6 supply depots going down, that's not going to happen again anytime soon. MMA here. Look, he's killed 8 Stalkers and 1 SCV has died.
That's just this game.
Yeah.
It's just this game. He's in so much trouble. I really can't just begin to describe how much trouble he's in as he tries to get armor upgrades. Zealot charge, went behind Dark Shrine comes in. anything he can do to be able to pick up this game. He's microing his stalkers to every last end, but MMA, even insult to injury here. And SCV goes in to spot everything here. He doesn't really get anything, but he sees that his opponent's not there. A drop comes in. This is bad.
Yeah, how do you deal with these kind of drops when you put yourself this far behind? And he could even focus down the Nexus here and probably do a lot of damage, but he goes for probes anyway, kills off Zella after Zella. There's no units here to deny him. He's going to chase and kill off that pylon that is powering a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and MMA's 114 supply. He's had a great tournament so far in the round of 32, 2-1 versus Tails, 2-0 versus Tilo. And we do see HasUOBs blinking in, man, but he's going to pick up a bit of damage, but pick up a lot of these units, but at the same time loses a lot of probes, units, and MMA in the round of 16. 2-0 versus Happy, 0-2 versus Naniwa, 2-0 again versus Happy, and it looks like in the round of 8 this may be his next victim.
Certainly, MMA looking to contend for the throne here in WCS Europe, trying to steal that from Mr. MVP as of Season 1, and with him not here, MMA is looking good against Protoss right now to clinch a lot of this, even going for that Nexus once again. These Stalkers and Dark Templar are going to have to try and deal with this, but the scan kills off that Dark Templar super fast. Stalkers get pushed away as well. MMA, GG, well played. He advances on to the round of 4. Fantastic play from the Korean.
Fantastic play from the former champion. Fantastic play. And MMA happy because he was worried. I promise you, he was scared of HasUObs, but now he picks up the 3-1 victory. And as you can see there, massive hug off the camera. But unfortunately, it wasn't this guy's day today.
Certainly not. And I think a lot of people came in with HasUObs having
a high chance to win this.
High hopes of HasUObs actually advancing on. But unfortunately for him on the day, didn't quite happen. As MMA showing signs of very strong play once again.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be bringing out that blink play on Whirlwind there. I thought DTs might have been the option for him there, the kind of usual setup you see from Protoss players, but he attempted it. It didn't work, unfortunately. And MMA moves on, keeping Terran hopes alive. Keeping Terran hopes alive here.
He's going to be going up against another Protoss once again in the round of 4 in the form of either Welmu or MC, which coincidentally will be our next match.
Yes.
So Protoss versus Protoss on the way. And as you said, MMA advancing on to guarantee us a TVP. So not a ton of Protoss versus Protoss, as some people were dreading, but whatever.
Yeah. I thought that series was pretty good. I enjoyed that series, even though it was 3-1, which does look in results quite one-sided. But overall, I thought the games were pretty good. I liked that game on Derelict as well. Very close. But HasUObs, I have to say it, I don't think he quite brought the same level he was expecting to bring today against MMA. Whether it be nerves getting to him or anything. Maybe he over-prepared. Maybe he overthought this matchup a little bit too much. But MMA was able to go through 3-1. We will have in just a moment's time an interview with MMA and Red Eye. Interested to hear some thoughts from MMA, considering that he was so nervous and worried coming into this, and still has a couple of difficult opponents coming up in the likes of, you say, MC and Welmu, which will be our second quarterfinal of the evening, and Todd will be coming up to be doing some casting for us as well.
Yeah, regardless of the PvP, both players have shown that in PvT they are very strong right now. So we can go over to the winner, Mr. Ace MMA, along with Red Eye.
I'm with MMA now, who, congratulations on a 3-1 victory. You said you were nervous, you were worried. How did you overcome that and win so straightforwardly?
엄청 긴장되고 어려울 관계가 될 거라고 말했었는데 어떻게 이렇게 3대1로 이겼는지.
정말 경기하면서 뭐 우승했을 때보다 더 떨리더라고요. 그래서 1세트 이기고 나서 몸이 너무너무 떨려가지고 막 정신없이 그냥 했던 것 같아요.
Actually, he was really nervous. He was actually more nervous than playing in the final, and he doesn't even remember playing what he actually played in those games.
Okay, maybe I won't go back and ask you too much about the games then. Let's just talk about the last map. When you saw those two stalkers just outside his base, was that the tell? Did you know then that this was your match?
마지막 게임에 이제 추격자 2개를 보고 뭔지 알겠다 하면서 스캔 찍었는데 그때 이긴 걸 확신했는지.
일단 이것만 막으면 이긴다고 확신을 했고 좀 돌개발하면서 전멸 추적자 빌드를 좀 안 하는 편인데 그거 해가지고 좀 손쉽게 승리했던 것 같아요.
Yes, he realized when seeing those two stalkers, he scanned and knew he could defend it, and yeah, that's what it.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what this win now means to you, because I mean, Apollo said earlier on, it's been a while since you've won anything. I think from memory, Iron Squid last year was the last time you won. It's taken a long time for you to get into Heart of the Swarm. Do you feel that you're back to where you were, you're back to your best again now?
아폴로도 아까 말했었는데 이제 엄청 오랜 기간 동안 우승을 못했었고 좋은 성적을 못했었는데 이번 이제 기회가 돼가지고 진짜 우승까지 할 수 있을 것 같은지.
지금 개인적으로 프로토스전이 너무 약해서 토스만 있잖아요. 그래서 좀 힘들 것 같은데 남은 기간 준비 잘해서 우승할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
He still thinks his Protoss matchup is not so good, so he will train a lot to improve that and try to win this season.
All right, well, best of luck to MMA. He is our first man through to the semi-final, and who better to break it down after a P loss to a T than this man, Yun Merlo, aka Todd.
Thanks, Fred. We just saw a fabulous PVT, guys. I'm going to go over what's happened in a moment, but first, I want to talk a little bit about the facts going into this series. We know that MMA, he likes to play very aggressively, HassuObs being more of a defensive player overall, but there are some things that we didn't really talk about, and that will be MMA. He has good micro, and he can macro very well, obviously, but HassuObs, he's a very, very good Storm player. He's one of the best Templar control in Europe, in my opinion, whether it's feedback or Storm, and I think that played a big role in this match here. So in the first game, we saw HassuObs try to mix things up, try to be unpredictable. He went for the Oracle, it didn't work out for him. Then came the second game, HassuObs went back to the roots, and I have to say, usually I see HassuObs open a lot more Colossi rather than Storm, but here on Belcher, he chose to open with some Templar play, and I think this is so smart. I really agree with this choice. We're going to be taking a look at the game here. The game was fairly standard up to this point. I mean, HassuObs, he was getting his first Colossi out. Now we can see he's on 2 Colossi. The army supply was fairly even. And at this point, I'm a little bit surprised that HassuObs moved out before he was maxed out, especially considering the amount of workers he had. If you look at MMA, he has only 53 SCV, so his army supply is far superior. And HassuObs, I think he just wanted to poke here. I don't think he wanted to really commit to a fight. He had some Templars. Well, where are his Templars, actually? Some of them are trailing a little bit behind. He has 3 of them. They have full energy. This might be why he wanted to fight. He probably thought he didn't have to commit, but you see MMA with the great scan, he's going to place his units in an area in which HassuObs cannot see right now. So can we see the vision of HassuObs? I think he saw this very, very late, and he probably he wasn't even looking at his army at this point. I don't know what's happened exactly, but I think he clicked somewhere wrong, and then he wasn't looking at his army, maybe macroing somewhere. And we can see now the move command into an orbital command and lots of bioforces. He's going to lose one of his Colossus instantly. Decent storms go down, but you can see MMA is microing very, very well here. He pulls back, make sure he doesn't lose too much. And at this point, HassuObs, he's cornered here. He cannot escape this area. There's nothing else he can do than fight. So he's going to take the fight. His last Colossus dies, and then, I mean, he's basically stuck in this corner with a bunch of units that can't really do anything. MMA even landing the Manor Mules during the fight. HassuObs, after this, it's going to be almost impossible to recover. He has a few Templars out on the map. He has a lot of bases, but he's going to lose this base instantly. And now only perfect storms will save him, and even perfect storms maybe can't even save him. So that's what he's going to try to go for, but you can see his Templars. MMA is just going to keep on scanning, keep on killing all of these Templars coming here from this side, and he's just going to secure himself the 2-0 lead. So very well done by MMA on Belcher Vestige here. And after this game, I really felt like he was going to have the momentum and close out the series, but HassuObs somehow upsetting him on derelict before MMA could close out the match with the 3-1. Very well done by him. This has been the analysis for the first series of the day. I'm going to be passing it over to Red Eye with some social media updates. Red Eye, take it away.
Thank you very much, Todd. Yes, great to have you back in the studio and great to have you as part of the team here delivering the WCS Europe Premier League Season 2 experience for you guys at home. We hope you enjoyed the first match. Bit of a thriller. The local homeboy not quite stepping up enough to take down the former Triple Crown winner of MMA. He finds his way through to the semi-finals and he is in really good form. Next up is going to be another cracking game. It's a real battle of a David and Goliath. Welmu going up against MC. It's like a guy who's come through living the dream. He came through a ton of qualifiers after coming off the ladder. He then goes through Challenger, round of 40 last season, and suddenly finds himself unbeaten in Season 2's Premier League, going up against a 2 times GSL champion. That's coming up next. Make sure you keep your tweets coming as well. We are monitoring them. We are looking at them. Use #WCS in Twitter. You can also leave comments on the Facebook page at facebook.com/StarCraft as well. Just picking up on a couple of the tweets. Is there a joke I'm missing with the bow ties, says Chris Rainey. No joke, just all serious, smart stuff. That's it. No story behind it. We just wanted to be smart for you at the weekend. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see that David versus Goliath matchup. It's Welmu versus MC. It's coming next.